What month we in?
This is March.
March. We
Take
made it.
three. Take three here with Jeff Lanigan, Mayor of Rome. What do you want to head up first, Wesley? You want to go ARPA? Do you want to go
Let's talk garbage first.
Garbage?
That sounds fun.
talk garbage?
That'll really grab and suck the audience right in.
Let's
You guys really want to start there? I've been talking garbage for so long now. I'm tired of it.
Well, give us the bullet points of what
at
just happened
least
down here.
positive. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
no,
a big
it's-
deal
it's-
a few
it's-
years ago, right? So what's
It
going
was
on?
huge. So obviously, if you guys, I don't know if you read the paper or not, but
Nice.
it was a big ordeal through the campaign. Is the garbage issue that the city has gone through over the last couple of years. CWSI was the previous garbage hauler, and it seemed like right out the gate when they were awarded the contract in 2022, it was a disaster. So through the campaign, that's all we heard about, and then you read the response from the previous administration. There was nothing we could do about it. We were locked into a contract. It would cost millions of dollars for the city to get out of the contract, and we just needed to ride it out until that contract expired in 2025. And so when I took office in January 1, that was one of our big ticket things, is that we wanted to look into this garbage issue and try to resolve it. And everything we had previously heard couldn't be farther from the truth. There was things we could do for it. You just needed to show cause. You need to breach that contract and get out of it. So what we did, and I give all the credit to my team and my public works commissioner and his office at DPW. They did an incredible job throughout this whole thing. But Joe and his team got together. We got the contract. We picked out 8 to 10 bullet items of things that were being violated within the contract. We reached out to CWSI and said, hey, this is day one. You guys need to correct these things. It's in violation of the contract. And they acknowledged some of the things, other things they said they just couldn't correct. And then what we did for the next 30 days is every time they violated something, we just took note of it. And we let them know, hey, you're in violation of this. You need to correct this. And after that 30 days passed, I mean, we literally treated it like a criminal investigation. And honestly, I knew we needed to build that case. Forget the whole 2.5 years prior to that. Let's build a case off of 30 days. And while I'm in office, and we can say, hey, look what you did in 30 days. We don't even have to go back. So that's what we did. And after that 30 days, I then reached out to Bliss Environmental, and they were the second lowest bidder when the contract was done in 2022. So I reached out to them. I let them know what I was trying to do as far as bringing a new company. And I said, hey, can you guys help me out? And Travis Bliss and his brother there were incredible. They worked with me right day one. They obviously had to build employees, trucks. I mean, they didn't have the services right away to come into Rome.
Right, so they have to take your good faith for it that they'll probably get it, because if they hire all these people and buy all these trucks, presuming they're going to get this new gig, but it's not guaranteed, right?
Yeah,
It's a bit of a leap of faith.
Yeah, and that's honestly like when I originally talked to them, I said, can you guys do it? And logistically, they were going to break down. And then they called me to the point, maybe a couple of weeks later and said, hey, listen, we've done everything we could do up until we start spending money to prepare to come into there. So I said, hey, hold off. Let's make sure that we can do this and make it work. And so then we got with the lawyers. We said, let's draw up where we're going to breach this contract and have the company ultimately served, that we're going to move forward with a new company. So that's what we did. We let Bliss know that that's the action we were taking. We had them served on a Tuesday morning with ending their contract that Friday afternoon, and then Bliss was going to come in the following Tuesday. So,
any fight on that?
Yeah.
Or were they
That's
like,
my next
yeah,
question.
we suck?
I'm surprised they wouldn't take
go
it till the
ahead.
end of the contract to duke out.
Yeah.
And we were prepared for that because
Right.
obviously, like that couple weeks before we had them served, that's what we did. Our meetings, we sat down and we said, do we have all of our ducks in a row type of thing? Because we anticipated they were going to come back after us and say, no, we haven't done that bad of a job. They continuously blamed it on COVID and manpower and this, but all these other companies are functioning now. Like, how long can you ride the
cart for it?
coattails?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, we got to. Obviously, there's other issues that you have with keeping people employed and bringing people to your business. But the city can't. We can't be the blunt of that. We just can't keep taking it on the chin. So we were prepared for that. So we served them on Tuesday morning. We didn't hear a word on Tuesday, and then finally Wednesday morning, my lawyers and my chief of staff came into the office and said, hey, their lawyers reached out. And they said, hey, they're willing to just cut ties. You know, if we're not going see with them, they had a performance bond, so all the money, like we kept tolls of everything that over that 1 month, and then we went back 6 months to see what it was costing the city to pick up this garbage and fix all these broken cans and do all this stuff. So they said, if you guys aren't going to come after the performance bond, we'll just walk away. We'll cut ties. And I said, that's best case scenario. But what I wanted was, I didn't want to go after the contract. I wanted them to amend the contract and say, hey, your end date is now the 15th of March. So that way we're not doing a breach of contract. We're just doing an amendment to the contract that says your new end date. And that way they couldn't come after us. We weren't going to come after them. It's just that was the new end date. So they went back to their lawyers. They came back. They said, absolutely, we do that. So,
nice.
You know, you read on social media and, you know, I cost the city millions of dollars and we're paying 2 contracts now for different. We're not. It didn't cost the city any extra money.
You mean social media isn't a trustworthy news source?
Well, you would think, because some of those people are, you know, that
experts.
I did see were involved in politics at some point or currently involved in politics. I go, man, wouldn't they, you know, you think they would have a little bit of knowledge to,
Right.
hey, maybe they're doing things the
There were
right
structural
way.
engineers when the dam was going to give way. Remember, we had all that rain and the dam at Delta was going to collapse. They're experts on everything in social
Yeah,
media.
It's funny, but no, it didn't cost. You know, I want to say the difference in the bidding between Bliss and CWSI originally was like $15,000 a month more that it was going to cost to go with Bliss. Bliss was incredible to work with. I told him, obviously, this isn't budgeted for. And I think we agreed upon it was about a $7,000 difference a month to bring Bliss in. So we kind of met in the middle. So
Well, it also seems to be you pay for what you get. I
Well,
mean,
that's-
So you get a better
that's-
service.
better
since
you're
service.
getting a much
$7
better
a
service.
month.
But just the
Plus the headaches and the
and
cleaning up
just
after the other crew, right?
Exactly, and that was like when
probably
we did the
not
6-month analysis of what it was costing the city. Over 6 months, it was about 70,000 that we were paying. The city was paying to have our crews go out there and pick up tipping fees and bring that garbage to the dump and do all that stuff. It was about a $70,000 clip that we were paying as taxpayers on top of paying
right.
Yeah.
Paying extra
CWSI.
to take care of their job is always
So it
fun.
was really, you know, it's really not costing us anything more to bring them in. Plus, we're getting a lot better service.
So your deal with Bliss, does that go through 2025, which
So what?
Or
No,
how long is
so
that gonna
it's
go
all
for?
going to go back out for bid.
Okay.
So we're going to put it all back out right now. You know what I told Bliss is, you know, the bidding process is going to take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. So they're here for right now until we can get that RFP drawn up, get that back out, get the bids back in, and we'll have a whole new bidding process where obviously, you know, Bliss will put in for it. I'm sure a couple other companies have.
who are the
have
other
already reached out.
players in that size of being able to scale that?
you want to get in the garbage business?
No.
Central
No.
Garbage Company?
No, I mean,
Send
we're
them
looking to
garbage.
diversify, but I don't think that's on the.
You have a CDL one?
I can get one, I know.
I know previously we had obviously Bliss, CWSI, Syracuse Haulers. They were in there. Waste Management was here at one point, but I think they're a very. I think that's a lot. Waste Management. I think that was a big contract. So I don't know if they'd get into the smaller market again. But yeah, those were kind of some of the players from previous. You know, you
Will
had Hawkins for a little bit.
CWSI jump back in with another bid?
I'm
Or
gonna
they
guess
were-
they don't.
they had enough
but
fun.
Yeah, I
Don't
my
know.
guess is they don't, but you never know. Obviously, it's a public bid, so anybody can. Sentinel Garbage Company can jump in. Anybody can jump in. We are looking at changing some of the verbiage in there as far as because like you said, you get what you pay for. So having it be a lowest bid option is the only thing we can do. It really puts you in a bad predicament that somebody could come in and they could be $1 million less, but they can't perform the service.
End up costing
And
you more.
It's costing you more
Yeah.
at the end of the time. So that's kind of why we told Bliss it'll take us about a 3 to 6 month to get that RFP done, because we want to make sure it's written up right, that we're not, you know, we want to be fiscally responsible, but we don't want to sacrifice service for that. So that was a big thing with us.
Yeah.
It's just a balancing act of governance,
Absolutely.
especially at the municipal level. It's
Yes, very,
providing
very
as
true.
many services as you can with keeping the cost down.
With
You know,
very little money.
right? Yeah, that's a good update.
I like it.
Yeah,
And
so
all
it was
makes
a-
sense.
it
It's
was a
nice when
big
things
move.
make, you know, and it's nice when things kind of change without a whole lot of battle, because then there's legal fees, there's all these other things that happen. So to be able to land the deal, come to terms, and
W.
it just
Yeah.
makes that's a huge W.
Yeah, it definitely it worked out very well, and like I said, we were able to make that happen for our community, and it didn't cost us millions of dollars or have to pay out a dual contract. So, but yeah.
All right. All right. Well, keeping the money there, we have more money coming in, or I guess it's already hit in for the ARPA funds. You allocated some funds. We had a story on it last week.
Yeah.
About it, but I'd like to hear it from the mayor's mouth here.
Yeah.
The decision process on getting some of those out and what's left, and maybe just overall update on ARPA funding.
Absolutely. So we had, when we came in, we had them sit down with the treasurer and come up with exactly how much ARPA funding was left to the city, and it came in at about, I want to say somewhere around the range of $3.5 million. It was what was left in the account. And the way ARPA funding is handled in Rome is different than how it was handled in Utica. When the funding came in, Utica gave all the rights to the mayor, said spend the money how you think it is or how it needs to be spent, and that's how they did it. And you're seeing right now how that kind of unfolded. On the Rome side of it, I give kudos to the Rome Common Council on that they said, whoa, listen, there needs to be some checks and balances. This money, it's a great thing to get, but we don't want to give all of it to the mayor to do what they want to do with it. We need to have some say in it. So they kind of split it, where it's the mayor and the Common Council are supposed to work together, both in agreement on how the money's spent. Obviously, there was some rift between the previous administration and the Common Council, so they really butted heads on that towards the end. I have a great working relationship.
So it probably helped you because it probably stalled the spending of it a little bit, right?
Yeah, it really did. So coming in, I have a great working relationship with them. So we knew that this was going to be a lot smoother of a process. So we got together and we talked a little bit about how they see the money to be spent, how I want to see the money spent. And we came together on these 3 items that we just proposed. They'll be voted on Wednesday night at the Common Council meeting. The first one being $400,000 to the skate park. And I think that's going to be a great thing for the community. It goes on my whole mission of improving our park system and having more for our kids and our families to do. Common Council was right on board with that. They agreed that we really needed to assist in the funding of that. So we allocated $400,000 to that. We did $150,000 to jumpstart the K-9 program. I was not for them eliminating the K-9 unit a few years ago. We retired 2 of our dogs in the prime of their careers after the marijuana laws were passed. And those dogs did so much more than just drug searches. I mean, they did community involvement, they did tracking, they did apprehension. There's so much that those dogs could have continued to do. So they eliminated that, and in the process of that, they got rid of all the vehicles, they got rid of all the cages, they got rid of all the equipment. So what we needed to do was have enough funding. I didn't want to piecemeal it. And this is exactly what I explained to the Common Council, is I don't want to piecemeal it. I don't want to do 10,000 here, 20,000 there, and have a ho-hum unit. I want to bring it back in full force. So we sat down with that and came up with a number of 150 to get a vehicle, get a dog, get the training, and get that program jump-started right back up. So we'll have that hitting the street. I think the school begins in May. So our officer will ship out to Ohio for 6 to 8 weeks, and then come back, and we'll have the K-9 unit back up on the street and running. So that was a great thing. And then $200,000 we allocated towards the Parks Master Program. So what we wanted to do is, back in 2003, we had a cities master plan that Jim Brown, I think it was somewhere in the realm of like $400,000 that we paid to have that done. But what people don't understand is you pay that money, but then when you're applying for these grants, I mean, we got millions and millions of dollars of grant money because of that plan. Mm-hmm. Because when we go to apply for those grants, we have the plan.
You have a better application.
Absolutely.
You're competing for money. So the more you can show that you've put the investment in and are serious about it, the better chance you have of getting money back. Sure.
So they look into that. And the city plan now that was done in 2003 is, it's 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to look also into updating that. But we haven't had a Parks Master Plan in quite a while. It expired, I think, in 2015. So we wanted to do that and get that up and running so that we can start updating and have a plan. This whole piecemealing things, when something breaks at Pennyfield and we're notified of it, we go fix it. Or we need an upgrade of a swing over here, we go do the upgraded swing. There's really no plan. There's no attack to say, hey, within the next 2 years, we want to upgrade Franklin Field. In 4 years, we want to upgrade Griesick Field, and kind of have that. And then we also have it to apply for these grants and get some more funding. So those are 3 things that I think were great. It kind of jump started our, if you want to call it a negotiation between us and the Common Council, and got that money flowing a little bit. And we're hoping to have some more meetings with them. We're hoping to get some public input and really see how we want that, because now that will leave us with 2.75 left in the bank that's left in the ARPA funding. So we'll see what we're gonna do with that funding.
Boy, do we have a project for you. No, just
let me ask you about the canine. Is there a human job created out of this for police, or is it the same staffing for police, just dogs? Like, is someone going to get trained to work with the dog, or are you hiring a new officer to be a canine specialist?
So what we did is we put it out to, last week, they put it out to any officers within our department that would like to be a canine officer. And they got applicants back, so they're going through the process right now of probably interviews and see who's got the experience. And there's a lot of time that goes into being a canine officer. It's not just you get a puppy and you get to hang out with him for 8 hours, then he goes in a kennel. You need to train. There's a lot that goes into it. Home life sacrifices a lot with that. So, they really, when they do these canine officer appointments, they really look into, what your home life is like, and if you've got 5 kids, is it really
a great
good?
fit?
Exactly.
Right.
So, so they'll go through that whole process, and I think Friday they had to have all the applications in by Friday this past week. So they'll do that. So it'll be one of our officers that are currently at the police department that'll actually get assigned that canine, and they'll go off to Ohio to the school, and I think it's a 6 to 8 week school, I think it is, and then they'll come back a full certified canine officer.
Is anyone still on payroll from the last canine unit, but they still have to go through the process, or like?
Well, they would have to go. So Alex Carletta was
right,
one of our canine officers. That her dog is one of the ones that got retired. She has since been promoted to a sergeant, though. So
gotcha.
That throws a little wrench into it. But she would have to go back, because she might have the knowledge, but the dog doesn't have the knowledge, and then they don't have that connection. So you actually go.
It's a pair.
It's
gotcha.
more of building that bond with the dog. Like, you could never just take a canine officer and say, hey, here's a new dog. They need to have that time to bond and really get to know each other and trust each other. So she would even have to go to the school if she was one of the ones that was selected. So,
gotcha. So is it 1 dog, 2 dogs? What does the units mean?
1 dog right now.
Okay.
This allocation of $150,000 was to bring back 1 vehicle, 1 dog, 1 training. And then what I'm hoping to do is for next year for the budget, that if we have a little bit of this funding left out of the ARPA account, out of that 150 that was allocated, that we could put some of that towards it, plus budget for a second dog. I'd like to get it back to, my original plan was to get it back to 2 officers, 2 dogs, and that would be ultimately the unit.
Gotcha.
Right now it's a solo unit, but or at least it will be.
Yeah,
but
us non-police guys, we got to catch
yeah,
up.
absolutely.
We need to lay it out. It's pretty simple.
I like it. I like it.
In the skate park, so how'd you come up with $400,000? Like $100,000, $1 million? Like, how'd you get to that number? And what happens if down the road this thing doesn't get built? What happens to that money? These are some questions I kind of had.
Yeah,
because I don't know.
They're good. They're 100% good questions. So what we did is we had several meetings. Obviously, Chris Mercurio is kind of steamrolling this whole thing, and we met with him and we talked a little bit about their funding that they've secured already and where they're kind of at, like what's that missing piece. So we were able to take $400,000 from the ARPA, plus we took $100,000 from our CDBG fund, and that gave us a total of $500,000 that the city was able to contribute to the project. And that doesn't close his gap of what he needs to get the project phase 1 completely done, but it definitely it makes it a lot more reachable for him, that they're going to be able to break ground. When we met with Chris, he was at a point that they weren't sure if they were going to be able to break ground this year and get that phase 1 started, and we really wanted to help make that happen. And so that's where we kind of met with that $400,000 out of the ARPA with $100,000 of CDBG, kind of gave him that push over the edge that they're going to be able to break ground this year. So,
what's a project that size, or are there any details on that? What the total ask is? I know where it's going, but I just curious
I think the total ask is somewhere in the range of like 2.2, 2.3 million for the total project itself. He broke it into 2 phases. So there's phase 1 and phase 2. And right now they're trying to get the funding to do phase 1, which is It's the push ramp, and I don't really know much about skating, but it's the push ramp. It gives some obstacles that are going to be there, and it kind of lays the foundation for what this park's going to be. But it's also going to give some function to it, so where people can still go over and utilize it. And then they'll continue to do their fundraising to get that phase 2, which is the inner part of the park, done. So I think right now he's got to be somewhere in the range of 1.1, 1.2 million, and then obviously after that, the phase 2, he's going to be looking to get another 1.1, 1.2 million out of that to complete that second phase. But the first phase, it's going to be totally operational on what's going to be there. It's going to give people something to do down there. It's going to give a venue for concerts. It's going to give a venue for food trucks. It's going to give a place for these kids to be able to go during the summer and hang out and really, enjoy that. I mean, it's right by the harbor there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful location down there. So it's going to give us an opportunity to have people down there on the daily. So it'll be good.
We're going to have to get some cameras on the first drop-in when Jeff drops on the first ramp. Just
gonna do it?
Go right through the ribbon, right for the ribbon cutting?
I tried skateboarding. As a kid.
Skateboarding with scissors to go to the ribbon. That might be dangerous for you.
I was a rollerblader. I could rollerblade with the best of them, but skateboarding I could not do. I couldn't get the kick flip, which is apparently like the easiest thing to do on a skateboard. I couldn't even get that down.
Yeah,
I
can't even ollie. I didn't, can't go anywhere.
I was not a
without
skateboarder.
That. Got it. All right.
So if they did ask me to drop in, I definitely would not. It's the last thing I need. But to answer your question, if the funding wasn't used, if we allocate it, the funding has to be allocated by the end of this year, and then it has to be spent by the end of 2025.
Okay.
So
that's kind of perishable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got another, how much left in the kitty?
2.75.
And do you have any ideas on that? So not to say I'm here like aloud, but I mean, do you have a bit of a rough idea?
I have ideas of what I want. What I want to do with the money, what I see. But I also like to get the ideas from people and sit around and obviously if it was Jeff Lanigan's checkbook, I would have all sorts of things.
Your wife would have it.
Well, my wife would have it. You're absolutely right. That's true.
Yes.
Yes, that is very true.
Melissa's in charge. I know this.
She is. So, but I like to get the input from the public. I like to get the input from people that want help in our community, and then you take the Common Council. The Common Council, they get the input from their constituents. So it's great to bring them to the table and sit down and say, hey, what have you guys heard? What do your people want? What do you need in your neighborhood? So it's a whole, it's a great process as far as getting all together. Obviously, the more hands you put in the pot, the more personalities you're going to get, the more wants you're going to get. It was funny during one of the meetings, somebody had said, they said, well, yeah, as long as I get my stuff, you can have whatever you want. And it was it wasn't meant to be that way, but just the way it came off, it was funny.
That sounds like national politics.
Exactly. It was kind of like we all laughed about it, but no, I mean we're going to all work together to come up with. You really want to spend this money as a lasting impression on the community. You don't want it to just be a splash in the pad because you're never going to get this money again.
Yeah, I mean it's once in a generation, once in a lifetime opportunity for these communities. Yes. I mean it's like
we really want to make it something.
What was the total amount to start with?
24 million.
24 million.
That we got. Yeah. So.
And 3 million left to blow.
3 million left.
Sounds pretty fun.
You go right ahead. I don't want the responsibility.
And a lot of pressure on you.
Is when it comes back.
A lot of Monday morning quarterbacks on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but we're very, we look into everything and we really do, cross all of our T's and dot all of our I's when it comes down to, it took us, this long just to get 3 projects that we said, hey, all right, we're all in agreement with this. We think it's great. So we moved forward with them, and it, like I said, it kind of helped get the ball rolling a little bit, and I think going forward, it'll be a nice, smooth process. And I think we're all kind of on the same wavelength that we want to make it impressionable things on the community that are going to last a long time. So
if I'm Joe Citizen watching this podcast, like a very wonderful person that Joe Citizen is, would this person, if they have a great idea for this, they show up at a Common Council meeting and speak? Do they email you? What's the route to get an idea?
They absolutely could. They could go to the Common Council, speak during the public forum. The one piece of advice that I can give you is don't just come with an idea, come with a plan. everybody has great ideas, but when you
Yeah,
sit
how
down
you
at the
gonna-
table, it's like,
How you can get a shovel in the ground?
exactly.
Or, yeah,
How are you going to do it? It sounds like a fantastic idea. I'd love to see it in our community, but the burden can't be thrown back onto the city to say, hey, this is
figure it
my
out.
idea. You come up with the plan. You come up with the feasibility study. You come up with the funding for it. You can't do that. You got to come to the table with plans. You got to come to, whatever it is, if it's drawings, if it's a financial plan, come to the table with that. We can all throw ideas around, but at the end of the day, it's the ones that have the plans that are gonna, they're gonna get the farthest with it. So 100%, you could go to the Common Council, speak at the public section, and then maybe set up a meeting with your counselor or with them all together, and do a work session with them to show them your plan, or reach out to my office. I'm more than happy. I've sat with several people since I took office that exactly that. They came and they're looking for funding. They're looking for some assistance, whether it's ARPA, whether it's grant applications, whatever it is. I sit with them all. I take the meetings, sit there, hear their ideas, see their plans, and we take it from there. And it's obviously, we're looking for things that are going to impact our community. If we can help, fantastic. Whether it's financially or we can point you in the right direction, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do. So.
Just a quick update, if you have any, on the theater district. We got the parking lot coming online. Do you know you have a right by Berkshire, old Berkshire area, that, and any update on the opening of the apartments and just that corridor in general seems to be in flux on a couple projects, then also some people departing that area. But what's going on down there that can be?
So the parking lot, we just talked about that. It's looking like they're on schedule to be the end of June.
There's a lot of stuff going on over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quite a bit.
they're going at it.
We got the artist. She's doing her. We got some statues and stuff that are going to be going up there. She's working on those now. They had some public forums regarding those and any input that anybody had. The parking lot seems to be on schedule for the end of June. The artist loft apartments, when I had originally met, they said the end of April they were looking to maybe start filling some of those apartments. End of February was going to end construction, March time applications, and then start filling them. I think they're a little bit behind schedule. Last update I got, 3rd and 4th floor were done, and they were working on the 1st and 2nd floor still, just wrapping things up. So if I had to say that, maybe that got pushed back a month, that they'll start filling them maybe in May or June. But that is coming online. So the 233 building, it's the mural building. There is some grant money associated with that, and we're still in the process of working on that to get that up and running to see what's going to happen with that. So it's all coming along. It's all work in progress.
Sure.
So,
All right. Anything else over there?
I think that's about it. It's a good
Anything
update.
else?
That was
That's
action-packed.
solid.
we had quite a bit going on over the last. I think I'm almost 100 days into this.
There you go.
So we've had a lot of good progress, a lot of things in the right direction. So we're continuing to work on it every day, and it's long nights. Hockey's over now, so
Yes.
I can
The
take
last-
a couple
the last weekend.
couple of deep breaths here. I don't have hockey practice tonight, so it's nice. But it's my voice is kind of raspy from yelling all weekend long out in Buffalo. But
Yep.
Teddy only got one game of it. But,
That's all right.
but
Yeah,
no, the
he's
kids-
on the
the
move,
kids
my
played
man.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice of him to come in for the final game. So
Nice. All right. Well, that wraps up March. We'll guess catch you in April. Thanks again.
absolutely, I'll see you
Appreciate
guys
it.
back in April. We'll see what's going on.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
Bye.